this is probably the best knife modification I ever made. From here to here. This is how a new Swiss Army knife out of the box usually looks like. High polished surfaces on the steel parts and high gloss scales. And no doubt this tool looks epic with the iconic distinctive Victorinox design. But what is if you want to have a slightly different optic? What is if you like in general matte surfaces more than shiny ones? Or what is if you don't like if you can see every fingerprint or every little dust on your knife? In this video I will show you how you can resurface the steel parts of your Swiss Army knife with a beautiful matte oxidation layer, and how you can change the shiny surface of the scales to matte or silky shine. So stay tuned if this sounds interesting for you. Hello YouTube, welcome to another Swiss Army knife workshop video. In this series I show you maintenance and customization tricks for your Swiss Army knife. Believe me, I'm not a car enthusiast. I really don't care much about how my car looks like. Nevertheless, I can say that I like visually these black matte sport cars and SUVs. And the same goes for furnitures. Let's say kitchen furniture, so I don't like these shiny surfaces. So in my eyes, matte furniture surfaces looks more elegant. And also when it comes to knives, I often prefer a matte surface over a shiny one. Swiss Army knives are usually just available with high polished surfaces on springs, tools and handles. And this can be, let's say, boring over the time. But look at these pictures I found in the internet. I really like this style of Swiss Army knives. And that's why I want to show you in this video how you can turn these glossy shiny parts from a Swiss Army knife into matte ones. I don't say that you get such perfect results as in these pictures, but try it out. You will be surprised how well this works. The most of these customized Swiss Army knives I showed you right before in the pictures was made with the acid etch stone wash technique. This technique is also possible to do at home, but I have two reasons why I don't want to show you this technique on my channel. Reason number one, you have to disassemble the Swiss Army knife, and this is not what I want to show you. And reason number two is, for etching the steel, you need a ferric chloride acid. And this is too heavy stuff for me, for my knowledge. So I don't know where to buy, I don't know how to handle, I don't know how to dispose. I have no idea about this technique. That's why I want to show you a much more simple technique. The technique I want to show you in this video is, in my opinion, much easier and less dangerous, because you don't have to disassemble the knife and you don't work with such a strong acid. So the acid you need is an acid you can buy in every supermarket. What we need is a household quick descaler for coffee machines and other household machines with the ingredient sulfamidic acid. And this has the chemical formula H3NSO3. I clearly prefer the powder variant over the liquid form, because on the powder variant you can variant the concentration of the acid, but in my case 15 grams, also one bag, was easy enough for half a liter water. The second reason why I prefer the powder over the liquid form is the fact that the heated up acid is stronger, has more power than a cold acid. So that means, in praxis, I heat up half a liter water in the kitchen, I put it into a glass container, then I give 15 grams of this powder on it, mix it, and then the liquid is ready for etching the steel. The sulfamidic acid from an instant descaler like this, in the concentration under 30%, has a big advantage over the stronger ferric chloride. The sulfamidic acid is not strong enough to solve or destroy the oxide layer over aluminium parts or brass parts. But the sulfamidic acid is strong enough that it can destroy the oxide layer over steel parts. This is the reason why you don't have to disassemble your knife if you want to make an oxide layer over the steel parts of your knife. But if you would put an assembled Swiss Army knife body into a ferric chloride acid, the brass parts, the aluminium parts and the steel parts would be attacked from the acid. That oxidizing the steel parts from a Swiss Army knife with sulfamidic acid works, I learned from my friend Jochen. Jochen runs the YouTube channel GM Knives. The link for his channel you find here and in the description box below. But even if sulfamidic acid in a concentration of 30% is not that strong, we have to follow some safety rules. First of all, always wear gloves. The second point is, wear always safety glasses. And the third point is, better work outdoors than in a room because of the toxic fumes. And like this, oxidizing the steel parts of a Swiss Army knife is not more dangerous than descaling a coffee machine. But before we start to oxidize the Swiss Army knife steel parts with an acid, please keep in mind that you will lose the lifelong Swiss Army knife warranty if you do that. And now I would say, let's start with the project. The first step is to remove the scales, and for that I put the knife into warm water, and like this the holes around the rivet head get softer and they don't break out if you remove the scale. So I decided that at the end I want to have a knife with black scales. That's why I put them away. And before I assemble them, I will make them matte. But how I do this, I will show you later. Now I have to clean the knife, and I do that, in my case, with spiritus. You can also use acetone or something similar. And this is a new knife. If I would use an old one, I would also clean it in my ultrasonic cleaner. But I guess for this, spiritus is enough. I guess this is okay. So next step is to cover the parts with nail polish where I don't want to have an oxidation. So in this case it's just the metal saw, because the rest I can resharpen easy. But if I would have a scissors here, I would also cover the inside flats of the scissors with nail polish. So this is done. Next step is to heat up water in a pan close to the boiling point. I'm in my backyard. Now I put the hot water into a glass container. And now I put the descaling powder into the bowl. If all of the descaling powder is solved, I wear the gloves, my glasses, and now I put the knife in. So now the metal parts starts already to react. Can you see the bubbles on the steel parts? So there are no bubbles on the brass and aluminium parts, but there are many bubbles on the steel parts. So now it's 8 minutes later, and I already like the color of the oxidation layer. What I do now is I make a neutralization bath with soda. In German this is NATO, and I'm not sure if the English translation is soda. Now the oxidation layer reached the dark matte color I wanted. That's why I take out now the Swiss Army knife, and I will rinse it under running water to rinse out the acid. So here I made an acid neutralization bath with soda, and to neutralize the remaining acid in the cracks. If this is necessary, I have no idea, but I do it. So now I'm back in the workshop and I dry the knife. So now the knife is screaming, please give me a little bit oil. And I will do that. But first I remove the nail polish here. So here I have a Victorinox Labri Food. This is a food safe oil. And yes, I give more than a bit. Now the reoiling of the knife body is done. Took a bit more time than expected, but now it's okay again. The next step is to make matte the black scales. For that I use Scotch. This is the rough side of a sponge. And now I just put the scale like this on the Scotch, and I rub the shape of an 8 without pressure. And now it's already totally matte. Yes. So now it looks like this, but I want to have a surface like sandblasted, and for that I took a glass with little stones in it. Now I put the scales in it like this, little board, Shake, 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 shake. And now I shake it 2 minutes. And after I show you the result. After 2 minutes shaking, I take them out. And now I clean them under water. So the last step is to put on the scales. So. And now look at this. Wow. This is probably the best knife modification I ever made. From here to here. From shiny and glossy to dark and matte. I like it. Look at this. Hey, try it out. Try it out. This is super easy and the best knife modification I ever made. Try it out, you will have fun. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and see you in 2 weeks. Ciao!